Hey guys, my name is Moon and welcome back for more Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 5, Meakashi. I was gonna say what's a Nagashi. But yeah, last time we got, I guess, reintroduced to Shion yet again, right? Saw a little bit of, I guess, where she was before Watanagashi, right? She was in a school, a boarding school, I suppose, a private school, and it was nice seeing that because she was escaping, right? And we also get to know more about Kasai as well. I guess her butler, right? So let's see what happens in today's episode. So last time I was like talking about the BGM, right? The music. So I checked it out and yeah, this is really gonna be it, man. This Gene's BGM SE. So we're just gonna be using this one, I guess, through all of the answer arcs. I don't want to mess with the files as I might actually break the game for some reason, or maybe break the sound or whatever. But it's still good though, yeah. The other one is just kind of, how do I put this? Nostalgic, I suppose, right? But it's okay. The sounds in this one is very nice as well. So I'll just continue. Where are we? AD 1982. 4th year of the series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa, also known as Oyashiro-sama's curse, 1 year prior to Keiichi Maebara's transfer. Okay. So the setting is, I guess, at least, I mean, in the beginning maybe, right? 1 year before, yeah, what's a Nagashi chapter. So I didn't hear a wake-up chime. I'm not in school anymore. My brain is half asleep, but I'm aware of that. Waking up at the same time as the chime would go off at school doesn't feel good. I can go back to sleep after this. Still, I'm not going to live a torturous school life anymore. I can make today either happy or boring. It's up to me. Yay, that's really positive. I feel like I'm alive for the first time in a while. I didn't have any other clothes, so I was still wearing the school track uniform. It's supposed to have been designed by some famous Italian person, but it just looks plain to me. It really doesn't feel great to still be in clothes from that school. I want to enjoy my freedom as soon as possible. I especially don't want to walk around outside wearing it. I should have Kasai bring me some new clothes later. And I should think of redecorating this room. After all, this is going to be my castle from now on. So this this is a room in a gorgeous apartment building in the suburbs of Okinomiya. The property is a realtor and my dad's conglomerate obtained after foreclosure due to some sort of dispute. Most of the residents moved out during that. So while there are plenty of rooms, it's a lonely complex that feels devoid of people. Plus, with the exception of the manager and a scant 1 or 2 others, all the residents are shady looking people connected to my dad. I mean, if they're connected to your dad, and then you're fine, because they're not gonna do anything to you because you're dead. It probably won't be much longer before the virtuous residents are driven out. The apartment I'm living in used to be the room they'd use for viewing, so it looks like a room in a business hotel. It's fully furnished but lacking in daily necessities. I'll buy those things over time though.
むしろその方がいいよね。自分の部屋っていう実感が湧くし。
I nodded to myself. It might have looked stupid, but it helped psych me up. At the school, there was only a TV in the common room, and we weren't allowed to watch any cable channels. Jesus, I would run away as well though. I mean, it is 1982 though, so hey, it's a different time. So maybe, I don't know. It was clearly in the morning, so nothing interesting was on. But I enjoyed it anyway. Commercials are very fun to watch. Kasai dropped by with lunch right when I started to feel hungry.
Shion さん、おはようございます。ゆうべはよく眠れましたか？
ソファーに毛布でゴロ寝は結構辛いです。 やっぱ日本人はちゃんと布団敷いて床に寝ないとね。たくあんが美味しい。
それはよかった。後で必要なものを教えてください。
But do most people like to sleep in futons? Like, of course, there are beds in Japan. I'm just saying that I think most people, right? Yeah, when I see like, let's say anime, for example, or maybe live action J-dramas, right? Like most of the time, like the characters are sleeping in futons. I guess it's much more easier to, I guess, clean up, right? Like once you use it, you can put it in the closet. Much more easier, right? Rather than have a bed there. I don't know.
可能な限り揃えるようにします。
ありがとう。あ、でもそんなに気を使わないでいいです。私の好きで始めた生活だし。葛西だってたかられたらお財布持たないでしょ
I have to be serious about my plan. I can't let myself take advantage of Kasai's wallet forever.
バイトでもしようと思います。生活費くらいは自分で稼がないとね。私が選んだ生活なんだから自分で何とかするのは当然。
それはたくましい限りです。でもいいんですか？
I mean, she already has a house, so yeah, she could take a job.
外を歩けばやがては親族の誰かに見つかりますよ。
Yeah, but then again, though, people will find her.
そこは少しは考えてある。そこでミオンの力がいるわけよ。葛西さ、本家に電話してもらっていい？ミオンが出たら受話器代わって。
やれやれ、何を企んでるやら。どういう作戦ですか？
Okay, we're gonna, I guess, hear Mia now. Kasai dialed the number. It's funny to me that we're calling the main house, even though that's a place I most want to avoid at the moment.
もしもし。
おはようございます。ミオンさんですか？ご無沙汰しています。葛西です。ええ。おはようございます。少しお待ちいただけますか？今受話器を代わります。
I take the handset, I mean.
もしもし。私が誰だかわかります？
I like the voice actors.
その声は。でもそんなはずは。シオンはセントルチーア学園に幽閉されてるはず。そんなはずはない。学園では外部との電話は禁止だからね。それが電話してきたってことは血の巡りの悪いお姉でも意味がわかるでしょあんた学園抜け出したの？どうやって？そんなことはどうでもいい。会いたかったですよお姉。
That was as far as I could take, and Mian had hit her limit too. Yeah, I like this though, yeah. Both sisters like this. We both burst into laughter, unable to keep up our act. It's been a while since we laughed out loud with each other like this.
久しぶりだよシオン。あんた本当にどうしたの？どうしたもこうしたも。別に私は嘘を吐いてないです。ってじゃああんた本当に脱走したの？やる。私を閉じ込めておくにはちょっと警備が甘かったかもね。学園はシオンが穏便に脱走したことに感謝するべきかもね。本気のシオンだったら全施設を爆破してから脱走するくらい朝飯前かも。爆破はできないけど放火くらいはやるかもね。
Kasai smiled at us in amazement, his face blend of amusement and exasperation.
おねえ、今は電話大丈夫なの？大丈夫。バッチャはお稽古に行っちゃってる。
The hag is out for a lesson.
今日は帰りは夕方になるって言ってた。それは好都合。近いうちに会って話をしましょうね。とりあえず今日のところは電話で。うん。本家に学園から私が脱走したっていう連絡は来てます？んや、来てない。本家の電話も来客も全部私が通すから、私を素通りしてバッチャに連絡行くことはない。だから来てないって断言できると思う。ほう、そりゃすごい。さすが園崎本家次期当主。私はそんなの嫌だよ。シオンが変わってよ。鬼がついてるのはお姉でしょ。まあせいぜい頑張ってください。陰ながら応援いたしております。まあそんなことはどうでもいいや。すごい人事っぽい言い方だな。まあいいや。私関連で何か動きがあったら葛西に連絡をよろです。ここの番号はお姉には教えてもいいかなって思うけど、しばらくは内緒にしときますね。ごめん。そうだね。学園脱走したって話がバッチャの耳に入ったらいろいろ面倒になると思うよ。連絡の件は了解。何か動きがあったら葛西さんに伝えとく。ありがとうです。それとあとお姉にお願いがあるんだけど。そう来ると思った。あ、お金は無理だよ。さすがにお金を無心できるとは思ってません。お姉にはちょっと私のバイトのお手伝いをお願いしたいんです。なるほどね。そういうことか。で、具体的にはどうするの？
We can communicate fast in a situation like this. We don't have to get into details because we know what's on each other's minds.
吉郎おじさん、私の味方だったじゃないですか。吉郎おじさんの持ってるお店のどれかでバイトできないか打診してみます。
On my side, she says.
で、シフトが決まったらお姉に連絡しますから。あんたがバイトしてる時間帯には消えてりゃいいわけだね。めんどくさい役だな。何ですかお姉。双子の妹の頼みを断る？本当に？いいよいいよ、引き受けるよ。あんたの頼みは断ると後が嫌だ。サンキューです。今度シュランクベルタのケーキでもおごるから。かわいいタルト山ほど食べさせてあげますから。あ、シオン。
Okay.
シュランクベルタね。去年の秋に店閉じちゃったんだよ。
Oh, it closed down already.
え？あ、そうなんだ。うん。マスターが脳梗塞で倒れてね。退院してから一度は店を開けたんだけど、やっぱり体が持たないらしくてさ。惜しまれたけど閉店しちゃったわけ。そっか。そりゃあ残念です。欲張りモンブランをお腹いっぱい食べる夢はもう夢のままで終わっちゃったんですね。
I was disappointed that my favorite cake shop had closed down, but more so that this town had changed without my knowing while I was gone. It was kind of regrettable.
他にも変わったこと、私の知らないことある？いくつかある。今度会ったら全部話すね。ありがとう。
I wonder what she's gonna say.
私も学園で見てきたこと全部話しますね。近いうちに機会を設けましょう。追ってこっちから連絡します。わかった。ミオン？何？元気でやってる？もちろん。
ならよかった。切るよ。
じゃあね。
It's really been a while since I last talked to her. I love the conversations between them. Like, we didn't really have that, or that much, I mean, in What's a Nagashi. It's nice, yes. I put down the phone and heaved a sigh as Kasai brought in some tea.
結
As when-
局どういう話になったんですか？
Like when we were in What's a Nagashi, right? It was mostly Shion with Keiichi most of the time. And because they were with Keiichi all the time, right? We didn't really have Keiichi with both of them at the same time for long. I mean, for long periods of time. Like, they would be with together and then they will leave. Like, Keiichi will leave with Shion or Keiichi will talk to Mion, something like that. Not together all the time is what I'm saying. So, them talking like that is nice.
吉郎おじさん、私のことを可愛がっててくれたじゃない？おじさんにね、私が学園を抜け出してきたのを打ち明けようと思います。で、おじさんの持ってるお店のどれかでささやかに働かせてもらえたらなって。
人目に触れますよ。吉郎さんはいいとしても他の親類に見つかるかもしれないじゃないですか。
そのためのお姉ってわけよ。私が働く時間が決まったらお姉に連絡する。で、お姉は私が働いている時間にはちょっと人目を忍んでくれればいいわけ。わかる？
Kasai looked puzzled. It's not really that difficult to grasp.
つまり簡単。バイト中に私が何か咎められるようなことになったら、私がミオンだと言い張ればいいだけの話なんです。お分かり？
Normal people wouldn't buy this kind of plan. But Kasai knows too well how easy it is for my sis and me to trade places.
つくづく大胆というか悪知恵が働くというか、いやいや脱帽です。
もちろん褒め言葉だよね、葛西。
Kasai looked amazed. If things go south, it'll affect him too. Considering the rules of my dad's profession, he won't be able to get away with just a mere apology. Hopefully we see Mion and Shion's dad, right? And the mom as well. I think we saw Mion's dad, I think in one of the tips. But only through a voice. I'm not sure if it's Mion, if it was Mion's dad, but... Yeah, but if we saw him, it was just a voice, no picture or anything yet. That's why he doesn't want me to do anything too risky. I think I have to make it up to him since he helped me escape even knowing that risk.
ああ、任せとけよ。シオンちゃんのことをどうのこうの言うやつがいたら俺が少し締めとくから。
やっぱ吉郎おじさんは頼りになります。
Yoshiro Oji-san.
おじさんならきっと助けてくれると思ってました。
Uncle Yoshiro pounded his chest with his fist after offering me his assurance. He seemed glad that I turned to him first.
いいんだよ。俺はシオンちゃんの自分の生活費は自分で稼ぎたいっていう気概に感心してるんだ。金をたかりに来たんだったら本家に突き出してるところだぜ。
ああ、おじさん怖い。
I knew he was reliable. He understood my situation straight away and promised to help.
店長、シフト表持ってきました。ここに置きますね。
One of the store clerks brought out a work schedule. There are many things I'm unfamiliar with written on it.
で、シオンちゃんはどのくらい働けるんだい？
私とお姉の都合次第かな。できたら私の指定する日だけ入れるのが一番いいんですが。
おいおい、そんな虫のいいこと言うやつ面接じゃ会ったことないぜ。まあな、仕方ないもんな。
I'm depending on Mion for my work. Our schedules have to match. Of course, Uncle Yoshiro understood that. But I also knew he couldn't afford a selfish part-timer who only works when she wants to. So in the end, he decided to hire me as an office helper, not an official worker. As a temp, I wouldn't have a work schedule. So my uncle also decided to pay me out of his own pocket.
体裁は構いません。生活費が稼げればそれで OK です。
じゃあそういうことで頼むぜ。一応金を払うんだから仕事中はしっかり頼むぜ。あと事務所内じゃおじさんは勘弁な。
はいはい、分かってますよ。店長さん。ふつつか者ですけどよろしくお願いしますね。
こちらこそどうぞよろしく。
Once all the business talk was over, my uncle hounded me with all kinds of questions. He asked me things like, what was it like in a prestigious girls' boarding school? And so on. Apparently, there were all kinds of rumors going around about the St. Lucia Academy I was confined to, and everyone was curious about it. I added few embellishments of my own as I explained how an ordinary life at the school was. So my uncle looked extremely delighted to hear all the details about life in a secret garden for girls. Horny bastard. Once my uncle was satisfied, it was my turn to ask all kinds of questions. I wanted to know if anything peculiar had happened while I was gone. I won't be able to act like Neon unless I can fill in the gap of information left in the past 2 years.
そんなに大きく変わったことはないな。ダム戦争が終わってからこっちはもうそりゃのんびりしたもんさ。
私はダムの計画中止が発表されて少ししてから学園に行ったからな。私がこっちにいた時はまだほんの少しピリピリしたムードが残ってましたよ。
中止発表の後の1年くらいは同盟も計画は凍結されただけで中止になったわけじゃないって言って神経質になってたんだけどな。翌年には解散式をやったよ。ひなみ沢の境内で大式典だった。それでダム戦争は本当に終わりだな。
じゃあ私が閉じ込められたすぐ後だ。
I was imprisoned.
戦争も終わっちゃってみんなふぬけちゃった感じ？
しおんちゃんなんかはダム戦争は戦争ごっこみたいで楽しかったんじゃないか。子供たちが警察のお世話になるたびに引き取りに行っていろいろいじめられた大人の身にもなってくれよ。
まあ確かに否定はできないかな。私ら子供にとってはダム戦争はかなり遊べるイベントでしたし。
Uncle Yoshiro seemed exasperated how differently kids and adults treated the conflict.
そういえばバラバラ殺人なんてのがありましたよね。あのクソムカつく現場監督の野郎がバラバラにされたやつ。
The voice kind has changed a little bit.
あれ確か犯人がまだ全員捕まってなかったですよね。
Or maybe just the volume of the voice, yeah.
捕まったんですか？
ああ、確か初犯がまだ捕まってねえんだよな。そうそう、確か捕まってないはず。
しかもひなみ沢の守り神お社様を祀る綿流しの番にね。
Yeah, like look, it's a different voice again. Or I'm just tripping right now, man. I don't know. I'm sorry.
当時お社様のたたりだって騒がれたのを覚えてます。あれ子供的には結構怖かったな。
ああ、お社様のたたりね。
So we're learning Oyashiro-sama's curse in episode 2 already, okay.
その翌年にも起きたんだよな。
Usually we learn this like episode 6 or 7 in the other chapters, right?
そうそう、あれも怖かったですね。何でしたっけ、ダムの賛成派の男が事故で死んだやつ。北条だっけ。しかもまたしてもお社様を祀る綿流しの日に。これはもうたたりしかありえないってずいぶん騒いだっけ。あれは怖かったです。うんうん。
The construction manager that everyone hated was killed and dismembered on the night of the Watanagashi festival. We actually met this construction manager on chapter 4 with Oishi back then. That incident on its own was more than intense enough for us kids. Worst part of his body was never found, which made it almost a ghost story amongst us. So we seriously believed that the severed right arm was roaming in search of the body it belonged to. It didn't take long for the rumor of Oyashiro-sama's curse to become a topic of discussion among occult researchers and the like. Considering the circumstantial factors, even so, the rumor faded away about a year. After the dam project was officially frozen, we held Watanagashi purely as a festival. But the curse struck again. The victim was pro-dam activist who lived in Hinamizawa by the name of Hojo. He and his wife were on a trip when they fell from a cliff to their deaths. It was considered an accident. Technically, police were still searching for the wife's body. If I remember right, they never did find it, did they? Once again, the man most worthy of Oyashiro-sama's curse fell victim on the night of the Watanagashi festival. So the fuss over Oyashiro-sama's curse rose up again. Until then, Oyashiro-sama's wasn't considered very important. At least in the world of us kids, it was just a name of the object of worship in the shrine and nothing more than that. I'd seen boys peeing on the archway and I once stuck my hand into the offertory box. Peeing on the archway? Okay. The existence of a god didn't matter much to us. But after 2 consecutive occurrences, the kids no longer doubted the existence of a curse. So we were still all shaking in fear of Oyashiro-sama. Everybody suddenly became interested in the old stories about him too. So we quietly listened to the musty old stories the elders had to tell. And we started genuinely believing in the tales of Oyashiro-sama, miracles which any of us would have laughed away before. Oyashiro-sama's rules were awfully simple and clear. Enemies striding into Hinamizawa will be cursed. Villagers leaving the village will be cursed. What defined the village was terribly vague, where we never allowed to leave Hinamizawa village. Was going to Okinomiya or Okinomiya still safe? Was a single step not enough, or was a 3-day 2-night hot spring trip still safe? We kids tried to draw a line. It was decided in the end that if you had a house in Hinamizawa or Okinomiya, you were safe. And it was okay to go on trips if you had a house in either area. I know it's weird, but those rules were made up by kids after all. According to the rules, I'd be cursed since I lived at a boarding school in such a remote area. I couldn't say it loud because I felt embarrassed. But in fact, I was a little scared of the curse.
でさ、その翌年にも起こったんだよな。
やっぱり2年連続ってのは結構きますよね。私は今でもお社様は信じてるな。
シオンちゃん、2年なんてもんじゃないよ。知らないの？
What did you say again? Okay.
知らないですよ。何の話？
そっか。シオンちゃんはあれの直前に学園に行っちゃったんだもんな。知らないよな。
Uncle Yoshiro grimaced as if he said too much, as though he'd mentioned something I shouldn't know about.
何おじさん。そこまで話を振っておいて急に黙られると面白くないですよ。
まあ、シオンちゃんももう小さい子じゃないもんな。
おじさん、私を見てまだ小さい子供っていうのなら、眼科行くか回し蹴り食らうかのどちらかを選んでもらうことになるんですけど。
Okay. What?
もう、わかったよ。別に隠しゃしないよ。あったんだよ、その後も。
あったって？おじさん、さっきから何の話？
When I was very little, I always had this stick before I heard something bad. It was like a gnome who lived inside me was giving me a warning. Like he was poking me with a small needle. When I felt the stick, my parents called me. They'd always either chide me or tell me something bad. So I used to run away when I felt it. But my senses seemed to have grown dull. Even though my gnome poked at me, I just sat there.
実は賛成派の北条が転落事故で死んだ次の年にもな。つまりは去年なんだが、またあったんだよ。
あったって、また綿流しの日に ?3 年連続でまた？
そうなんだよ。ほら、ひなみ沢の神社あるよな。古出神社。あそこの神主が祭りの夜に突然ぽっくりいっちまってよ。聞いた話じゃ原因不明の奇病で急死したとかしないとか。それもまたしても綿流しの夜に。で、かみさんもその晩のうちに沼に飛び込んじまって。そりゃもう大騒ぎさ。村長たちが集まっててんやわんやの。
Very creepy music as well. Uncle Yoshiro.
うん。
Mion.
奇病ってのはおひれだと思うけどね。急死したってのは本当。神主さんは綿流しの準備で大変だったと思うし、あの頃は少し体調崩してたみたいだからね。急性心不全とかそういう感じのよくあるやつだったんだと私は思ってるけどね。でも綿流しの日にってのが異常でしょ？それも3年連続で。普通に考えたら人の死がこうも同じ日に重なるなんてことは考えられない。警察も検視したみたいだけど、その後に特に騒がなかったってことは死因に不審な点はなかったってことじゃないの？まあでもシオンの言う通り、人の死が3年も続いて綿流しの日に重なるとやっぱり普通じゃないって思うね。それにさっきお姉も言った通り、お社様にたたられそうな人ばかり開始する。これは絶対に何かあります。たたりでも陰謀でも、とにかく絶対裏に何か因果関係がある。
I decided to meet up with Mion at the library near the Okinomiya train station. It is not that I don't trust Mion, but I don't want to let her know where I live. Not many people use this library, so I won't see anyone from Hinamizawa here. It's very convenient for meeting someone in secret. After we discussed my life plan and work schedule, we moved to small talk. I've been away from this town for years, so things have changed. I asked Mion about those changes in detail in order to fill in the gaps. While talking about various things, I brought up what Uncle Yoshiro had told me about Oyashiro-sama's curse. Even before I left town, the curse had already struck twice. The dismemberment murder on the first year left quite an impact. And the year after, the pro-Dem activist couple fell off the dam. On the day villagers were enjoying their first SONOZAKI festival since the dam project was indefinitely frozen. This one also left quite the impact. The evil construction site manager was punished, and the next year the traitor to the village met the same fate. If it had happened only once, people would have concluded that it was just a bizarre coincidence. But when it happened 2 years in a row, people were far more likely to believe it was a curse. I know up to that part. And after I left town, The curse struck again for the third time. People talked about the curse more intensely than ever, both in Hinamizawa and Okinomiya. I have to rethink this. Oyashiro-sama's curse has drastically gained credibility while I was away. It was still unclear with the first two incidents. But after it continued for 3 years straight, people's doubts changed to convictions. Even though the priest who died in the third year wasn't an enemy of the villagers, the fact that people in Hinamizawa didn't care for him much added even more credibility to the idea.
神主は確か嫌われてませんでした？同盟の役員から。日和見主義なんじゃないかって叩かれてたね。戦争末期は同盟内でも過激な理論がまかり通ってたから。神主さんの穏健な態度はそういう人たちにとって気に食わないものだったと思うね。
The priest had looked strict and scaring. The way he spoke, he was always so formal. But in reality, he was very warm and reserved. Maybe for the priest, maybe it's just an illness, right? Maybe it's just an illness. Like there's nothing to it. But then again, who knows, right? Maybe it was because he was a son-in-law having married into the family. I'm sure the priest and his personality were the perfect fit for managing the shrine that was used for summer festivals and village meetings. But that gathering spot style atmosphere of the shrine changed completely when the dam war broke out and it became the headquarters for the Onigafuchi Guardians. Prior to the dam protest, hardly anyone worshipped Oyashiro-sama. And of course, devout elders paid worship to him, but the average person treated our god like how you treat fortune telling. Once the dam protest began, Oyashiro-sama was suddenly hauled out as a symbol of the village resistance, tracing the Oyashiro-sama fate back to its roots. It was an exclusive elitist faith that believed its members were descended from a holy ancestor, different from the masses at the foot of the mountain, and those tainted masses should never come near the village. Of course, such a self-centered ideology wasn't acceptable anymore in peaceful post-war Japan, so this doctrine was abandoned over time. Still, the idea had remained and they trudged it back up to fan the flames of nationalism and unite the town against the dam project. With the revival of those ideas, things only grew more radical by the day. And it didn't take very long for the Onigafuchi Guardians to become aggressive. After that, we were in a state of war. 100 million burning as one killed the white savages want naught but victory. Adults and kids both were gnawing at the bit, avid to repel the foreign invaders. Describing it like that makes it sound kinda awful, but like a reminder of the dark times of wartime Japan. But like I said, for us kids, it felt like less like a war and more like a village-wide festival. Yet, despite calling it a festival, dissenters were treated coldly. Their heartlessness lived up to the expression wartime regime. The Hojo couple who voiced their acceptance of their dam project in the midst of that atmosphere were truly brave. Then on the second year of the curse, they died in an accident. And everyone believed it was Oyashiro-sama's curse without question. So they were branded traitors and enemies of the village. So the Hojo couple faced worse than just being ostracized as traitors. Everyone gave them the cold shoulder and talked behind their backs. And the only person that didn't treat them badly was the priest. While the priest never objected to the anti-dam movement, he also never objected to the Hojo couple's advocacy for accepting the government's eviction and restitution to rebuild new lives. Those unforgivable Hojos became a slogan as the three families, especially the Sonozaki, united the village by turning them into scapegoats. So they must have found it very shameful to have a fellow member of the three families approve of that, especially when it was a priest of the shrine that had become a symbol for the dam process or protest. As central figures in Hinamizawa, the three families were the backbones of the Onigafuchi Guardians, so a difference of opinion was undesirable. And the priest was never accused of anything. But secretly people whispered that he was a heretic, that he was unfit to serve as Oyashiro-sama's priest. That Oyashiro-sama's curse would soon strike him down along with other rumors.
今にして考えると、神主さんって結構大人だったのかもねって思いません？
He was pretty cool, managing to keep his head and remain neutral while everyone around him grew fervent. I thought Mion would share my opinion when I chimed back in. So when Mion gave me a forced smile and didn't agree with me, I was taken by surprise.
本当に大人だったら、あそこは周りに合わせて強調すべきところだったと思うね。フルデのおじさんは単に神社の神主だっただけじゃなく、仮にも御三家の一つ、フルデ家の長だったんだからさ。ひなみ沢全体が結束しなくちゃならない時に、模範となるべき御三家の人間が自分から輪を乱すのは、それが大人と呼べるかどうかは、私には難しいな。
I was taken aback. I barely managed to say the following.
ふーん。
Even though we were identical twins, we still had our own unique identities. Every now and then our opinions differed, but usually only over some trivial matter. We've never had a difference of opinion this big. It wasn't an enjoyable feeling. I decided to probe her some more.
お姉の言う協調って言葉がなんだか好きじゃないんですけど。つまりそれって何？村全体を考えて神主さんは自分の考えを隠しているべきだったって、そういう話？要するに全体主義の中で個を主張するなと、そういう話？別にそこまでは言わないけど、ただやっぱり御三家の長の一人なんだから、もう少し言動は慎重にしてもよかったんじゃないかって、そういうことだよ。
Mion faltered a bit as my tone grew more like a cross-examination. I realized I was speaking a bit too harshly. What about Mion, or what Mion expressed was probably the more mature opinion on our scale. When everyone needs to work together to stand up to a vast enemy like the government, people should refrain from actions that would destabilize that alliance. Writing it out and reading it now, I can understand that. But I wasn't sure enough to agree to such a totalitarian idea. Or maybe it wasn't me at all. It was Mion who had made that mature judgment. We've been separated for over a year, so I've been away from the town. In the meantime, Mion has been training to take over the headship of the SONOZAKI family. She'd been treated as such even before I was confined to that institution. She sat next to the hag. I like how Shion is calling Oreo hag all the time, right? In ceremonies and in meetings. She took her place when the hag was absent. But that was just it. We were never that different. Mion has become very like a successor since I've been gone.
ふーん。お姉もいつの間にか大人になっちゃいましたね。
She seemed to get what I was implying.
やっぱり私もバッチャみたいな考え方になっちゃってきたかな。
I mean, we already see Mion though, very like head of the village. Like even when she was a kid, right, on chapter 4, when she was talking to Akasaka, was it? I don't know, Akasaka. Like those flashbacks or like those tips, right? Yeah, she's much more mature when it comes to village stuff.
いいじゃないですか。
Even back then, I mean.
お姉は次期当主なんだから、いつまでも下々と同じ考え方じゃまずいでしょ。さすが帝王学を学んだだけのことはある。 そんなの学んでないよ。どうやればバッチャのふりができるかって、それだけだよ。シオンにだって簡単にできるよ。そんなのやりたくないです。ばあさんのおもりはミオンのお役目。ま、疲れない程度にほどほどに頑張りなさいませ。
I didn't mean to be cold, but Mion seemed to take it that way. She smiled as if trying to pacify me. I smiled gently back at her.
おねえ。ミオン。何？確かに私たちの別離はいつも穏便じゃなかった。名前を引き離され、住まいを引き離され、そして体を引き離された時もいつもね。
Mion looked down with a serious face, but then looked right back up.
あんたは私がそのあたりで逆恨みしてるんじゃないかって思ってるかもしれない。でもそれは誤解。そりゃ確かに確執はあったよ。でもそんなのは時間で流れる程度のもの。あんたが引け目を感じるようなことは何もない。
Up until birth, we were perfectly equal. Right after birth, we were separated by the grown-ups' priorities. I used to get mad about it when I was little, so there's no denying that. But we don't have to start a disagreement over it. Mion seems to understand what I'm trying to say. So we each have our own characteristics, even though we're identical twins. Only we know the differences. We're also dependent on each other because of them. Mion seems more dependent. She always worries about me. If somebody gave her a cookie, she'd divide it in two and give one half to me. If somebody gave her a candy, she'd wait until I said it was okay to eat it. On the contrary, I'm cold. I don't care about others if I'm satisfied. I'd put that candy in my mouth right away. I have to emphasize that I don't hate her. I'm well aware that she loves me. We both know that. Mion must have been hesitating to put that candy of the successor in her mouth and was waiting to see if I was okay with that.
頑張れ、ミオン。私もシオンを頑張る。
I tap her forehead with my fist lightly. Mion put her forehead against my fist as if trying to feel the warmth. She's Mion, and I'm Shion. She's a successor of the SONOZAKI family, and I'm just a vagabond. That isn't a distinction, but rather our individuality. We shouldn't worry too much about the other anymore. We should feel relaxed living as who we are with our own characteristics. I didn't have to say any of that out aloud. We can communicate by touch just like this.
ありがとう。シオン。頑張ろう、ミオン。困ったことがあったらいつでも相談して。私たちはいつだってそうやってきた。それはこれからも何も変わらないよ。
Mion kept nodding with her forehead against my fist. I said goodbye to Mion before it turned to evening. We talked about the things that happened during my time away, and I enjoyed having that chat between sisters very much. We were able to dissolve our unsettled emotions. We didn't used to do that. Maybe it's because we haven't seen each other for over a year. It was late afternoon. My heart felt lighter now, so I stretched and looked up to the sky. The sky was clear, blue, and far away. No matter how tall I grow, I'll never be able to touch that sky. I'm Shion SONOZAKI, a girl who escaped from the life she was forced to live. Nobody will praise me for what I did and for what I'm going to do. But this is what I chose.
私だって大人な考え方できるじゃない。
I psyched myself up. I should go for shopping for dinner. Though I have Kasai's help, I need to save money. I love junk food, but it'd be cheaper to cook. Ironically, the culinary classes from that evil school will come in handy. Evil school. Why not go to the shopping district in Kami Ishiki? If I'm going there, then I'd need to take the other street. The cool breeze in the late afternoon felt nice on my skin. Kasai came to the door while I was putting stuff I bought into the fridge.
あ、待って待って。今鍵開けます。
お買い物の帰りですか。お疲れ様です。
買い物程度で疲れてちゃたまんないよ。あ、葛西も食べてく？独り者にはスーパーの野菜の単位は大きすぎだしね。
よろしいんですか。ご厄介になってもいいものでしたらぜひ。
Kasai looked curious about what I'd cook.
チェー、その顔は全然信じてないな。見てろ。
これらは冷蔵庫でいいんですか。入れておきますよ。
あ、悪いね。2人分だとお米はこのくらいかな。よっこらしょっと。
Kasai skillfully packed food in the fridge while glancing at each item in turn. He noticed something.
シオンさん、相変わらず缶詰はダメなんですか。
I hadn't bought any. That was, of course, on purpose.
缶詰を避けての買い物はいろいろ大変でしょう。
理屈じゃ分かってんだけどね。無理強いされりゃ食べないこともないけど。それでも私はやっぱりパスだな。
悪かったと思ってます。少しふざけすぎたと思ってますよ。だからそろそろあんなくだらない話忘れてくださってもいいのに。
ああ、もううっさいな。男が厨房にチャラチャラ出入りしない。テレビでも見てておとなしくしててよ。
Kasai chuckled and left. I know this sounds stupid, but I hate canned food. If somebody told me there was canned food in a meal, I just ate it, I'd throw up. It started with a silly thing. So Kasai told me a horror story when I was little. You know, one of those urban legends about meat made from an unknown source? Like those rumors about there's a worm meat mixed into burger patties or dog meat in beef balls. Kasai had fun telling me one of those stories because of how scared I got. He had fun, but I obviously didn't. I even started to cry in the canned food station of the supermarket. So that's how much I hated it. So she got traumatized because of that. I don't freak out like that anymore, but I still don't like canned food. So Keiichi should have brought some canned food, right? And if the person back then got scared, it was Shion. But not that much, I mean. Since I don't like it, I don't force myself, and now I live my life naturally avoiding canned food. One of the big differences between us twins is that Mion doesn't have this issue. Kasai feels responsible for this, but he can't get rid of it, or he can't rid me of that fear. Still, a flaw like this is actually a good thing, otherwise I'd be too perfect.
葛西、机の上の新聞どけて。
いい匂いですね。ごちそうになります。
Honestly, Kasai's voice actor kinda heard him from some anime shows. If you know which character, do tell me.
量が足りないと思ったら、あとは勝手に牛丼屋さんにでも行くこと。あ、テレビは切らないで。私は静かな食卓ってやつが苦手だから。
では、いただきます。
で、葛西何の用だったの？何か用事があってきたんでしょ？
I handed him a cup of tea. I couldn't wait until dinner was over, but I wanted to get the point quick.
食事が終わってからの方がいいかと思ってましたが、食べながらにしますか？
葛西が来た時点でずーっと何の用か気になってるから。先に言ってくれた方がご飯の通りが良くていいかもです。
自宅に学園から電話が今日ありました。
今日そりゃ遅いね。よっぽど表沙汰にしたくなかったと見えるな。で、どうなったの？
電話は茜さんが取りました。親父さんには後で折を見て話すそうです。
Kane-san is my mom. That's what Kasai calls her, as he's known her since before her marriage.
で、母さんなんか言ってた？
I was lucky she answered the phone, since she is relatively on my side.
仕方のないやつだと漏らしておりました。
She calls Shion a brat.
こういう結果も決して予想外ではなかったような顔つきでしたね。
I mean, we don't really see, what do you call this? The mom as well, right? So maybe the mom is not close to Oreo? Because yeah, you see Mion, right? Mion is living with Oreo. And yeah.
親父にはまだ知らせてないんだ。
茜さんなりにタイミングを測っているんでしょう。多分2、3日中には話すものと思います。
親父はばあさん寄りだからな。耳に入れば自動的にあいつにも伝えるだろうな。で、伝わったら見つけ次第即刻ここへ連れてこい。申し開きの意見によっては指の1本や2本ってことになるだろうね。おっかない子って。
笑い事で済めばいいんですがね。シオンさんの指だけじゃ済まないかもしれないってとこだけよくお願いしますよ。
Yes.
あちちちち。
がっつくからだよ。あ、ちなみに味噌汁もご飯も作りすぎてるからおかわりは強制ね。
Okay, let me understand then. Again, I mean. Oh yeah, because yeah. No, I'm just seeing what Kasei was saying again. Because yeah, if Shion gets caught, he's also gonna be at fault, right? Because Kasei helped her, and the uncle as well, for sure, right? So 3 of them.
3杯は絶対食べること。
A few days later, Mion told me that the hag had heard about my escape. Ooh, here we go.
で、ばあさんはどんな感じだった？
Okay, I guess she's gonna be angry.
バッチャはカンカンでさ、
Obviously.
もしもOkinomiya界隈に帰ってきてるなら、即刻見つけ次第自分の前に引っ立てろってさ。
怖っ。で、実際に親父とかの動向は？
近々の親族会議でシオンをかくまってないか問いただすみたいだね。でも若いのに街中を探させるとかそういう真似はしないみたいだよ。
Holding a family council means that things will remain in the hag's hands alone. She won't search for the town for me. It's like she's unofficially approving my presence. Of course, I'll get caught immediately if they find me in a large public place.
母さんがずいぶん暗躍してくれたみたいだね。
I can tell she's being supportive. It's a long story, but my mom is sort of an outlaw, even though she's of the Sonozaki bloodline. A long time ago she had a huge fight with the hag because she hated the family rules and traditions. She was even excommunicated. Ooh, I guess that's why she's not close with Oreo, right? And if Yeah, if what do you call this? Yeah, she's a bloodline of the Sonozaki family, right? Why is she not next up, I suppose, right after Oreo? It's Mion. So basically they skipped her. I guess because Oreo is not on good terms with her. My mom was supposed to be the successor, see? But she was deprived of the title and Sis took her place instead. While she's quiet now, mom is still an outlaw. She's always been on my side because I also hate rules and traditions. So Shion is like her mom.
親父、最初はすっごくカンカンだったらしいよ。母さんがだいぶなだめたらしい。何のかんの言っても、親父は最後には母さんには勝てないからね。
オッケー、ありがとう。また何かあったら教えてね。本当にヤバくなったら、私もこの町を離れるつもりだから。葛西とか吉郎おじさんとか、それに母さんとか、世話になった人の顔は潰せないからね。お姉、あんたが今何を考えてるかわかりますよ。どうして同じ血を分けた姉妹なのに、シオンだけこんな隠れるように生活しなきゃならないのか、でしょ？
Mion was silent. That meant yes.
シオンだけ、こんな窮屈な思いをするのはフェアじゃないよ。絶対。
ありがとう。気持ちだけでも嬉しいです、お姉。
表に出たい時とかあったら相談して。シオンがいつでもミオンになれるよう協力するからさ。
See? Trade places with you. Ooh. She sounded apologetic. I shouldn't go quiet or agree with her. She sticks to things a little too much. When she goes down, she'll stay there for a while. So I just told her simply.
ありがとう。実はそれが一番ありがたいです。じゃあ切りますね。
じゃあね、またね。
またね。So yeah, basically said it. They can swap places easily. Okay. I can't wait to see that part of the story. A smudged diary. Okay, let's check that out. Damn, this place, Satoko's house. Satoko was crying while hiding behind my back. She's been crying while clinging onto me, so my back was wet with her tears and snot. My aunt had been screaming hysterically, but she looked tired now. Oh, I guess we're Satoshi now. Yeah, Satoshi's probably still here, right? I suddenly realized that it was already past 1 in the morning. She vomited out a series of screams one last time, then finally called it quits. Satoko seemed exhausted. She was looking down in a state of shock. Even after my aunt walked away, she didn't realize she had been freed. So I stroked her head and told her,
終わったよ、サトコ。
Satoko twitched. Her eyes grew bright again and tears rolled down her cheeks. Okay. She looked up at my face. She knew it was over, but wanted to hear it directly from me. She begged me with a look. To be honest, I was really exhausted too. So I felt a bit annoyed when she tried to make me say it, but I needed to pacify her. So I gently told her what she wanted to hear.
もうおばさんの小言は終わったよ。だからね。
Now, how old is Satoshi though? Why is his voice kind of young? Honestly, yeah, I kind of feel kind of very young. I mean, when compared to Keiichi, I mean,
ねよ。
like Keiichi's voice is like a little bit deeper than Satoshi. Satoko clung to me while her tears continued to fall. She was crying again silently. Satoko was shivering pitifully. Her small back reminded me that there was nobody else to protect her.
さあ、 歯を磨いて、それから布団を敷こう。そしてぐっすり休もう。
Sadako smiled faintly and nodded. I felt dizzy. As I was released from the screen, a harsh drowsiness fell upon me. While Sadako was washing her face, I went to the toilet. I zoned out while watching my pee. In my dizziness, I almost missed the shot. It felt like I was being sucked into the toilet. I couldn't even remember what caused it. Why did my aunt start screaming today? Okay, that was it. So yes, I love the conversation with Mion and Shion, both of them. It's very nice watching them talk to each other. Very, yeah, just lovely. Both sisters, I mean, talking, yeah, having or bonding like that. Bonding, talking, it's nice. So I can't wait to see more of that, right? And when we see, or remember what's SONOZAKI right at the ending? Like, for me it was Shion, yes. I keep saying that, but yeah, for me it was Shion who did that, all of that. But from this part, from them talking like this, and then when we go to that part, I guess in the future of this chapter, right? What happened, right? Like, it was so violent compared to where we started here. So I guess it's gonna be heartbreaking later to see that again, right? But we will have to go through it. And yeah, Satoshi, we heard his voice finally for the first time. So it was him. I guess the other dyer was also him, right? Satoshi, Satoko. I guess he's gonna be here as well, right? Because remember in third chapter, Tatari Higurashi, right? When Keiichi was asking about Satoshi, Shion got mad, right? So we're gonna learn more, or learn how Shion, I guess, relates to Satoshi as well, right? So that's another thing we can look forward to. So yes, we were gonna continue this and do more of Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 5, Meakashi, in the next one. So I'll just see you then, guys. Bye bye.